Hey friends, today I'm excited to introduce Priya Nalkur. Did I say your name right, Priya?
You got it.
I should have asked. We met through Women Presidents Organization, and I'm fascinated with what she has created in the RoundTable Institute. I think it's really important for women, especially for anyone, to be equipped to enter into the challenges of the world with a good, solid foundation. And um, Priya, it sounds like you've really invested in helping people to navigate their path. And I would love for you to give us the inspiration story behind the Roundtable Institute, why you started it, and what kinds of things that you see people accomplishing in their lives.
Okay, sure. Well, thank you, Donna. And I love that question to start with because the Roundtable Institute was never really a dream. It came out of a frustration, as many successful businesses do. So I'm a psychologist by training. I just love um, talking through issues and clarifying issues. I'm also, I have a strong background in communications research. And so combining how we think with what we say felt like the crux of my work. And in 2016, I am Canadian, born and raised in Canada, and I was living in the United States. In 2016, I personally was very concerned about the direction that the United States was going. We were about to politically marginalize women and people of color because of the way, frankly, the election went.
Mhm.
And I was very concerned about what this meant for women's leadership.
Yeah,
Without even talking about politics, I
right.
just knew that this was a moment that women needed to be amplified. And in my work in psychology, I'd been working with and coaching and facilitation, I've been working with all types of people. But in 2016, in November, that's when I said, okay, I'm going to start a business specifically focused on women leaders and people of color. And so
Good.
November 10th, November 9th, 2016 was the first day of our business. We're about to get into our 10th year anniversary, November of this year, to support women, people of color, but now it has expanded. We're beyond that, and now we work with everybody. And it all started because I was not about to take the marginalization of women leaders sitting down.
Right. And did that expansion happen because you started working with women who were then wanting to empower their teams? How did that happen?
It happened very organically. What happened was we had our first program called Roundtables, where we brought together a small group of women to sit together and discuss their challenges, discuss their dreams and their visions, and support each other. And we had a system to help them accelerate their visions for themselves.
Yeah.
And we were working in some big companies like Visa and Microsoft. And the men in those companies got word of what we were doing
Yeah.
and they wanted in. And I said, I said at first, no, this is for women. And then with some pressure, I said, okay, we'll do it as long as the programs are inclusive, as long as the programs are diverse and include women and include people of color and have a range of personalities and identities in the room. Okay, we'll do it together. And that's
Nice.
how it started to grow. We went from coaching to facilitation to keynotes. I wrote a book because we were always responding to the client request,
Right.
not necessarily to, it happened to be what I wanted to do, and the clients were loud and clear about what they wanted from us.
Great. Great. So that growth just happened naturally because of the success of your program.
It happened naturally, and I'm a hard worker and I like to see things grow. I like to see how far I can take things.
Uh-huh.
I'm not done yet by any
Sure.
measure. We want to see what's around the corner, and I have learned to take an emergent approach to the business. What emerges, what feels good, what feels like an interesting opportunity, we'll fill in the crack and we'll go right there.
Right. When you started to see this growth, how did you shift the way that you run your company or manage your team? Did your team grow at the same time? How did you change your processes?
Yes, thank you for that question because I think a lot of people we don't necessarily think through how it grows, and a lot of my answer is going to be reflecting on the past, like,
Yeah.
oh, here's what I know now, having done it. But there's been really three things that have been standard in roundtable practice. One is that everything we do is backed by science and is grounded in empirical theory. So
Yeah.
we let the theory and we let the data and the observable data inform our work. That's really important.
Mhm.
Um, and of course, with a healthy dose of intuition, we are coaches and facilitators. We have to allow our intuition to guide us alongside the data. So that's one pillar. The second pillar that has never changed is that we have customized programs. All of our programs are bespoke to the client. None of our programs are off the shelf.
Yeah.
So anything a client needs, we really take our time to get to know the client, understand their needs, and design accordingly to
Hmm.
that client. No two clients are the same. Um,
Nice.
some of the approaches we use will be standard, of course, because we need consistency in the practice, but the programs are bespoke. And the third thing is that we care deeply about the one-on-one relationship. We care so much about the person. We can't do this work if the work becomes, anonymous. It has to be very personal. So within the confines of those three pillars, it's, you know, it means we can only grow so big
Right.
because we want to stay really personal. We want to stay bespoke. We want to stay grounded in the research. Those things require um, really personal, high touch type business, at least the way I have decided to run the business.
Yeah.
So we grew to about, at one point, we were 36 coaches and facilitators around the world. That felt a little bit too big. I always wanted to hold every coach and facilitator in my heart and in my mind and
Yeah.
understand who their kids were, when their birthday was, so I can send them a card. And after 36, it got way too big. I couldn't
Oh,
do that anymore.
yeah.
And then we whittled down, so that was the peak. We whittled down to about 16. Now we're about 12, which feels really good to me.
Yeah.
That feels like a round table. We can all sit together. So growth for me has been more around learning than about numbers of people.
Hmm.
Um, and I find even with a team of this size, our revenue can still grow. We're not limited by number of people in
Right.
terms of revenue growth and client service
Oh, that's a really good thing to keep in mind that you don't necessarily have to grow your team to grow your
to grow
revenue.
our revenue. Yeah.
So, in a lot of coaching situations, you really are exchanging time for money. So, how are you able to achieve that scale without growing your team?
Well, we've, like very practically, we've increased our rates. If
Hmm.
clients want that bespoke experience, which is what we really promise, it's going to cost a little bit more, right?
Yeah.
And still, we still offer, it's really important to us that our pricing is equitable and accessible. So we don't charge our big Fortune 10s the same as we would our nonprofits, of course. So we have
Yeah.
equitable pricing. And that has allowed us to, frankly, some of those big ticket clients to subsidize the work of smaller clients who wouldn't have otherwise been able to afford our services. But that model, equitable pricing, has ended up having an enormous impact on our bottom line revenue without really even planning for it to be that way.
Yeah.
But I wanted to run an equitable, humane, ethical company.
Hmm.
And those practices have ended up yielding a growth-oriented bottom line for us year after year.
Wow. That's great. Great baseline attitude towards growth. And I love the fact that you wanted to whittle your team down to something that's manageable for you to be able to know them and develop them and work together around a table. Um, can we shift to the less personal side and talk about systems? How I used to be very involved in operations, in operating systems, and um, tell me how you manage your to replicate the awesome foundational formula that you saw.
It's a great question, Donna, and my first answer is I don't know. I have a great team who takes care of a lot of that.
Nice.
Um, but I don't. I am the idea person and I'm the execution. I love to deliver the work. I love to get my hands dirty with my clients. Never dreamed of being a business owner or an entrepreneur. To some degree, I'm still ambivalent about those identities. I see myself first as a psychologist and a coach and a facilitator, and that's the
Yeah.
work that I really love to do. So I've done what I think I can, which is, hire an office administrator. She takes care of a lot. Hire coaches with very strong interest in operations who
Yeah.
take care of a lot of the systems. So whatever's going on in the back end, I don't get too involved in, frankly, because I have an enormous amount of trust in my team to
Hmm.
take care of it, and they're doing a great job, and I pay the bills and things get done. So
I
that's
love that.
that's where
Well,
I'm
and
sitting.
that's a perfect example of getting the right person in the right seat so that you continue the visionary activity that you do best. This is,
Yeah,
I have so many CEO friends in my network who dig in a little bit too much and absorb the responsibilities as a CFO or an HR. And I want to
totally.
say, can you just get somebody in that seat so you can focus on growing your business?
Yeah, I definitely don't want to do that.
I love that you have that all set up. That's fantastic. Now, how about your own life? Because in WPO, one of the things that's foundational is we talk about the whole person. And I'm taking my chapter on retreat, and they said we don't want to talk about business at all. We just want to relax and restore. So, what is it that you do in your own life, Priya, to just keep that smile on your face and to prevent burnout?
Yeah, I am currently designing a course on mental fitness and
Nice.
how to scale your business while avoiding burnout.
Yeah.
Because that question is so acute and loud right now.
Yeah.
And I honestly have been very lucky to have found the job that fuels my personal life and find the personal life that fuels my job. They're not in competition with each other. The
Nice.
effort that I give one does not take away from the other. In fact, they fuel and feed each other. And I'm lucky because I can be successful in the thing that I love to do the most.
Yeah.
And we're all lucky when we get to do that. Um, but there's a few things, I am a single mom to two kids, spending time with them. And, I promised myself when they were little that each kid gets 5 minutes with me a day,
Yeah.
solo. And that 5 minutes has always turned into half an hour, 45 minutes, sometimes 3, 4 hours of
Oh, wow.
solo time with each kid. And
Sweet.
that fuels me, it fuels them. The relationship grounds me
Yeah.
and gives me, it's rich. I have great relationships with my kids. And I'm I you know I think it's the reason the business has done well, frankly, because it's self-care for me to have good relationships with my kids. I have a great community of girlfriends. I go for walks regularly with my girlfriends, runs, play golf, play tennis. Those relationships fuel me. There are often WPO sisters who are thinking about the same sorts of things,
Mhm.
understanding what self-care really means to us. It's not about taking a bubble bath, but maybe it's going to play 9 holes of golf and talking about what's going on in our business.
Exactly.
So connection with others has really helped fuel all sides of my life.
I hear that from our WPO chapter in Colorado Springs, that it's more of a more mental health than anything else for them. And we do solve business problems, but we also have a safe place to talk about things.
That's it. Safety. Yeah, totally.
Mhm. That's beautiful. I love that that's the main reason that you love WPO, and I love that you've created that circle of friends. It's really important for us to be able to lean on other people's experiences and also just have a place to share without worrying about somebody spilling the beans. And
Yeah, yeah. That
and
confidentiality, that safety is everything. There's no need to perform or be anyone you or have, that the moment you walk into that room of a community of supportive sisters, you're not performing. You're
yeah,
not afraid of anything because you want to support them as much as they support you. And that reciprocity, I don't find that in mixed gender groups. I
yeah.
find it with women. I really do.
Yep. It's really true. And there's nothing wrong with the guys that we love who support us, but it's amazing the connection that we have with women.
Yeah.
I'm reading a book called Real Self-Care, and I love the fact that it emphasizes exactly what you said. It's not just about whether I go to the spa or work out or hit that yoga class. It's more about creating a life that
Hmm.
continuously generates energy for me, where I
Yeah.
feel like I'm doing my best. I'm involved with the people who give me motivation and energy, and I'm not running myself into the ground.
Yeah, yeah, they really keep me honest. They make me enforce my boundaries the way I would for them as well, right?
Yeah.
Like
Well said.
women, we're just not afraid to tell each other how we really feel, whether it's, hey, pull up your panties or I love you to death, like we
Uh-huh.
get the whole range from our girlfriends.
I know we had that conversation yesterday, and I thought it was so sweet that everyone was just saying point blank. I mean, we are questions first, curiosity focused, but um, also holding each other accountable
Right.
um, to hold our own. So I appreciate that. Well, what one piece of advice would you give to another CEO who really wants to intentionally grow her business for impact's sake?
Yeah, I would say find the physical place that brings you clarity. And what I mean by that is sometimes that can be in nature, sometimes that can be in your own room, sometimes that can be on a dance floor.
Yeah.
But there are physical places that I think ignite our creativity and resourcefulness.
Hmm.
And we ought to surround ourselves in those physical places regularly. For some people, it's in a museum or something. For me, it's in nature. If I'm in the presence of a mountain or a lake, I just feel myself generating ideas.
Yeah.
I feel the ideas coming to me. I feel the creativity. I feel freer and liberated in a near a mountain, where there's no screen, there's no paper, it's just me and the mountain, where I can feel fully aligned, alive, and creative.
Yeah.
Once I've gotten that breath, I can go and execute, but I have to really deliberately and intentionally put myself in those physical spaces. So my advice is figure out what home is and go there regularly, and find your place of creativity.
You get restored. I love that.
Yeah,
Well, thank you for sharing your insights today, Priya. It's great to get to know you. Great to see that smile on your face. You're in the right place, and it's fun to see the impact that it's having on other people.
so much appreciation. Thank you so much.
Yeah.